So, good evening, everybody. Latest edition of Last Bell Boxing. Today we got Kieran, who's going to talk to me about his career, what's happened in the past, and where he sees himself moving forward. So, Kieran, good evening. Thank you for taking time out on your Friday evening to jump on with her. Yeah, but my Welsh isn't great, mate. I'll be honest with you. So, my Welsh isn't great.
Good afternoon to the layman, that was.
Yeah, I'll try and brush up for it next time for when you come on. There's a promise for you.
No problem.
So where would you like to start then, Kieran? Because this is all about you, to be honest with you. So where would you like to start?
Well, the beginning's always a good place, isn't it?
I agree. So you take it away then, fella.
So I started my pro. I'd done years with the amateur team, with the Welsh amateur team. I was captain for a couple of years and done some international tournaments, and very proud of my time as an amateur for representing Wales. And then I started my pro career off, and I was really impatient, still am, really stubborn as well. And I went with a manager who was just trailing off for his time in boxing, so it wasn't the best timing for me. And I got a draw against Kevin McCauley, which wasn't a very good decision down in Western-super-Mare, but it was his 150th fight, so I'm guessing, the judges might have seen that as sort of a milestone he'd like to remember. And yeah, he's a great guy, but I think the fight should have gone my way, And then my next fight then was sort of a little bit out of desperation. I didn't understand what being in the away corner really meant as a pro. Yeah. And I went to Bristol on a Senegal show, and the boy had sold 150, 200 tickets, something like that. And he was only a 4-rounder, and he was a young boy, very nice boy, young fellow who'd done unlicensed stuff and a bit of kickboxing and things. And I'd lost against him. I cut his eye up, and like I say, it was only 4 rounds, and chased him the whole fight. And referee Kieran McCann gave it the other way. And we'll talk about Kieran McCann a little bit later as well. But he decided that the other boy had done enough, maybe on the back foot. I don't know. But from there, then I sort of regrouped a bit. A friend of mine, Richie Garner, who's the manager and helps with promotions in Wales, helped me to build some fights up. Then my first win actually came as super middleweight in my third fight.
Wow.
We had a late change of opponent, and I had to take what I could get, really. You've got a stoppage in Howard in the 4th round, and then from there we kept progressing, and I got a really good fight against Bradley Price, ex-Commonwealth champion, on a S4C show, and performed really well there. And
say, Kieran, that's your stand out. That's your big name on your resume, to be fair.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was at the end of his career and stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's a pleasure to be able to say that I got a win over him. And although not a prime price, it's definitely going to be one that people...
You can only beat who's in front of you, mate. You can only beat who's in front of you.
Oh, and that was a fight that was supposed to be against Tony Dixon, but Tony Dixon had to pull out. And then we had the fight a little bit later in the year then, which didn't turn out... it wasn't the best time for me in the year, but... I'd done the best I can in the fight, and we got awarded Fight of the Year. I lost.
Yeah, I've seen that. Welsh Fight of the Year 2019 is not a bad title, mate, is it?
Yeah. So I still got something for the fight. I didn't get to win the title, and he actually offered to have a photo and me hold the belt after it, and I said, no, I'll hold it when I got my own one. And it's sort of a mantra I keep with titles now. So I've never touched a belt that I haven't won yet.
Is that superstition, is it, Kieran?
A little bit. I'm not particularly superstitious, but there's little things we have, and it's more of a mental thing where I feel I can hold it and I can handle it if I've earned it.
Yeah.
The only title I've held that's not been one of mine is a female world title, and that's because I could never win it.
I should hope not, anyway. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, fair to say a little bit of a stop-start year for everybody in boxing. So obviously you're chasing the Celtic title. You've been I can see it's been in boxing news and such, like you've been talking about that for a while now, haven't you? That title.
My 4th or 5th fight, I think. It's one I've always wanted, but when the opportunity came up to fight against Sean McComb, scheduling. The fight got made. It was on paper and ordered, but there was scheduling differences or something on the TV show. We couldn't get a slot. Prior to that, I defended the Welsh title against Craig Woodruff, and I wanted the title up for that one really, but it wasn't viable then. So and there was talks after I defended that against Craig McIntyre possibly, and against him, who's a good fighter from up Scotland. But there's a couple of Scottish guys now who I think I know I get taken. Hopefully those fights can be made. Celtic title is sort of an obvious step for me next, really. If coming back in after a year out with the injury, 18 months out with the injury, and in so yeah, I'm hoping I can get that fight over the line pretty quickly.
Clearly means a lot to you, that Celtic title, don't it, Kieran?
Yeah, I mean, for me, heritage is a big thing. I'm actually involved in politics a little bit, and I'm running for a regional seat in the Senedd in the Welsh Assembly, and I'm really proud of my Welsh heritage, and not just my Welsh heritage, my Celtic heritage too. I've got a lot of family who are Irish, and I feel the Celts do have a special bond with each other, and it'd be great to be known. And it's a nice bit of alliteration when you say a Celtic king.
Yeah, very nice title. So coming on to the MTK Golden Contract, I've only had one bit, I promise. How did that come about then, Kieran?
As soon as they got announced, Lee and the other managers all got bombarded with messages about being involved in it.
Great platform, though. Great platform, isn't it?
Fantastic. And like I said, Lee must have got bombarded by people, but I think I might have been one of the first who asked to be involved in it after the main setup of them. And then when a couple of fighters started pulling out, I thought, this is going to be my time. It's going to be my time. And I actually started out, I wrote about it in my book. I started out the month prior to it, or the 6 weeks prior to it. I think it was a month prior to it. Just boxing on the undercard of a sort of a build-up show in Cardiff. And then by 2 weeks out, I was on the undercard boxing in a eliminator slot. And then by the time the main card came round, I was in a co-main event on Sky Sports. So that was an interesting month, 5 weeks, and didn't get the preparation I really deserved for that occasion really deserved. It was my own fault. I was trying to build my business at the time, but it was a mistake I've learned from, and it was a very close fight. They gave it a draw on the night, and then Kieran McCann again the decision to Afari, which it's down to his discretion. But I mean, you look at the punch stats and stuff. Where I've got a company that I'm involved with sometimes that do the punch readings and stuff like that, and they done the punch stats on it, and it was something like 150 punch difference, I believe, something along those lines. And I was always brought now. This could just be my own philosophy, but I was always brought up saying that punches mean points. That was a thing my dad used to say a lot to me.
Yeah.
So I was very disappointed with that one, and
and you would. I don't want to rub salt into the wounds here by any stretch, but you would have gone through to fight Tyrone McKenna, wouldn't you?
Yeah, O'Hara. I would have thought.
Yeah. So
it could have been anyone because we'd have redrawn the next round.
It would have been a big name, though. I think the point is that I'm getting to.
Yeah.
So
Tyrone had the WBC belt at the time, and I had the first pick, and I picked Benson because I wanted the Celtic title on the line for that fight, and I thought Benson would have been a better step up for me at the time to go Benson and then McKenna, because that was the two belts I wanted, the Celtic and the WBC International, were both in that tournament, and for me, and they were the two fights that I wanted to do. Sadly, Benson had trouble with the medicals, and he's said goodbye to boxing since, I think. But it was still a very prestigious tournament to be involved in, and a great education as well. MTK done so much for so many boxers. Me especially. I had the chance to, before my injury or just after the golden contract, I had the chance to headline the MTK show in Cardiff, MTK Mopri show in Cardiff. Yeah. There would have been a AFL TV that I had to pull out because of a fight injury. And then we had the opportunity to fight Gary Kelly, which would have been fantastic. An ex-opponent of mine ended up taking it and dropped him in the 6th round or something like that. It was funny old set circumstances last year.
I mean, I was looking through your record. It's fair to say, Kieran, you've had some bad luck, fella, haven't you? You know, I was reading about you was proposed to be on Enzo McPinelli's 50th fight card as well, wasn't you?
I don't know about that one. I can't remember, but I definitely would have liked to have been on it.
Yeah. So I was reading through it thinking this guy's had a bit of bad luck. You know, so you do a bit of good luck, aren't you, Kieran? So let's hope when this pandemic's out of the way that, you know, you start getting the profile that you clearly deserve.
Well, I'm getting in talks now. I'm on the manager now, and it's rich of me saying after 18 months of not fighting, get me a fight now. But I'm ready. My injury feels like it's cleaned up. I'm taking my time. I have taken my time, and I'm still taking my time in the camp. But if we get a nice build-up fight, or even straight into a real fight, you know, should happen. I'll take it.
Is it right that you tore a ligament in your elbow area, around your elbow area? Is that right?
Yeah, man. So we still got a scar there. It ended up being a calcified part of the bone, so he shaved the bone down. The joint was swollen and had viscous material in. They took the joint out completely and let it regrow. And then what they actually did was cut through the tendon or the ligament to get to the bone. So that had to heal up in between. So yeah, hopefully we've got past it now. It still feels a little bit weak around the joints around the actual injury, but where the injury was, it does feel a lot stronger. So I'm hoping everything's done now, and it's just a case of strengthening it back up.
Brilliant. So coming on to PBA then, obviously, I'll be brutally honest, don't know much about the PBA. Take this opportunity. Go on.
Yeah, it wasn't an initiative that was running years ago. There are people who were involved now who were involved then. They approached me about a month ago, I think it was, maybe 6 weeks or more. And the idea of it is the Professional Boxers Affiliation is to, you know, provide advice on financial supports, advice to young amateurs who are looking to go pro, existing pros who don't exactly know, you know, the ins and outs of some of the things. And me, I think Fabio Wardley maybe, or there was someone who on the Matchroom boxes is involved with it too, doing some you know, just good. I think Rob Tebbett's involved too from Boxing Social.
Boxing Social, yeah.
Yeah, so there's some good people involved with it, and to be honest, the key idea of it is that it's kind people and people who want to see good for the boxers. And Henry and Kenny, who I've spoken to, they're really nice guys, and I'm excited for what we can bring next. They've just released a sort of a PDF version booklet and things like that they can.
I've been reading through it this afternoon. Yeah, it's very, very conclusive, isn't it? And like you said, it does read like they're looking after the welfare of the boxers, to be brutally honest.
That's the idea of it, and the hope is that promoters feel obliged to contribute towards a fund that we can put to, you know, not just boxers, but they're sometimes widows, sometimes partners who struggle, and the families who are left behind after boxers pass. And like I say, the boxers themselves have struggled to find a life after fighting.
Yeah, we recently had Carl Greaves on the show. He was kind enough to give me half an hour of his time, and it amazed me the sort of figures that banded about towards the other end of the spectrum of boxing, let's say, to even put a show on. You know, when you take into account paramedics, doctors. You know, I think people see the Anthony Joshuas of this world who are earning God knows how much. But it's fair to say, isn't it, Kieran, that not everyone pulling in that sort of money, nowhere near it.
Listen, mate, I boxed for nothing 3, 4, maybe 5 times, literally boxed for nothing. And I will say I've never had to do that on an MTK show, because they've always been straight up with that. But, you know, there's an understanding when you start out the people don't know about. You pay to get on fights, to build your profile, to get you sort of speculating to accumulate. Something I do a lot, especially in my business, in my life. I'll do it because I trust the rewards that are down the line. But you know, there are a lot of boxers who don't realise that. There are people who turn pro don't realise that. A lot of fans that don't realise that. And there are very, very few small hall shows that turn a profit. Most of them £1,000. And people like Mo Pryor, were the lifeblood of you know, boxing, really, because they're building the people up. These fighters, you wouldn't see someone like me built up without people like that promoting and fully prepared to put the money in, because they're passionate about the sport, not just about earning money, you know.
Yeah, and some of the trade fights are brilliant, aren't they, Kieran?
Yeah,
You know,
me and
never see
Dixon.
the light.
No.
Yeah, they'll never see the light of day in terms of a TV camera. I haven't been to many small old shows. Some of the dingers you get.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. And SLC is a good thing that's happened in Wales for Welsh boxing that the Senegals have contributed to. But 5-6 years ago, you wouldn't have seen me and Dixon fight. That wouldn't have been recorded, and we might never have won the award or whatever for it. It's definitely an enjoyable one to watch now.
Fair point. And I know the PBA got quite a few partners. I mean, RBF are on board with it, aren't they? WBA are on board with it. RBO are on board with it. WBF. So a lot of the sanctioning bodies are realising the value it brings, clearly.
It's going to be massive. It's going to be the one that hopefully we all go to, that we can all trust in Britain, and hopefully the high level boxers might be able to contribute themselves. There's tax breaks for the charitable donations and things like that that people can know about, and hopefully the PBA can network themselves and find their own sort of funding as well. It's not like there's a lot of outgoings, to be honest, for that, aside from going directly to the people who need it.
So, Kieran, here's a question that just popped into my head on a Friday evening. What does a Kieran who's approximately 13 fights into his pro career, what does a Kieran say to someone who's just turned pro? What does Kieran say to the Kieran who's just turned pro?
Now, I wouldn't be where I am now without making the decisions I made. However, I could very, very likely be 12-0, 13-0 if I'd have just taken my time and not been bothered about taking charge of anything. So just be patient. I'm only 27 now, just turned. I still got great years ahead of me. I've done things I'm very proud of so far. But if I'd have just taken my time from 2022 when I turned, like I say, I could have been 12-0 now and had the breaks of some of those people with those records are afforded. So just take your time, let it happen. Don't go chasing it, and stay fit, stay close to your weight if you can. People
Ready
like
for that
me.
phone call?
Pardon?
Ready for the phone call?
Yeah.
Eddie Owen often talks about that phone call, don't he?
It's a lot of sacrifices to make, and you do need like a financial backing and stuff. But even when you're working, just keep an eye on your diet. Don't go. I tend to have to cut a lot of weight to make my weight, but that's down to my past and relaxed weight sort of being so much higher than the way I actually dropped to as a pro. If you can get down to a weight and just get a good nutritionist and balance it out there, stick around there. So just be patient and stay near your weight, and you'll get the opportunities that are afforded to you.
And let's fast forward 12 months then, Kieran. Where would you like to be?
I'd like to be in a position to fight for the British and Commonwealth. I know Akeem and Sam were supposed to fight for it soon, or last couple of weeks. But Akeem might. I think he's got another injury or something. I'm not 100% sure what's happened there. But that's a British and Commonwealth title fight is such a massive fight, and both of those boys have won IBF and WBO European titles as well. So that would be either one of those would be a fantastic, honourable fight. So I'd like to be Celtic champion and looking to go for the British and Commonwealth.
And who? You don't have chances if you don't want to, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway, Kieran, because I'm in a bit of a mischievous mood. Who's the best British fighter in your weight division at the minute?
Josh Taylor, man. He's far and away. There ain't no one better than him.
What about on the Josh Taylor's obviously world level? What about on the British level? I'm not going to let you get away with that one.
I do like Ritson. He's a tough guy, really tough guy. There's O'Hara, who obviously got the knockout power. Tyrone McKenna's so entertaining. I like Tyrone. We had a drink with him after the golden contract. Great crack. You got McComb and Gary Kelly, both really good boys. I know McComb's just lost winning lightweight, but probably should be in super light. And then I'm gonna hit myself and I'll remember his name. So I spoke to him a bunch of times. The Scouser, clearly.
Robbie Davies Jr.
Robbie Davis, yeah. Sorry, Robbie, if you see this.
No, you just throw the questions out and I'll answer them.
Yeah, sorry if you see that, Robbie. But yeah, massive fan of Robbie too. He's great to watch with his southpaw style. He's technically sound and
Yeah. And what I'm conscious of time, Kieran, so I would like to finish off with Liam Williams at the weekend. Now, we have a live show on a Thursday night where we get fans on to give their debates, fans forum. Quite split on this one. There's 4 regulars who actually host the show, and we've all gone for Boo Boo to win. You might not want to hear that. I'll just give you my view first. There you go, and you can hold me.
I think I see your view, but you articulate it. Go on.
Yeah, so I think Liam Williams is a very good fighter. I think he's really improved. I think Liam Smith is improved since Liam Smith. He's improved with Domingo. I just worry down the stretch. I know he's as fit as a butcher's dog, don't get me wrong, but I think he's going to be chasing Boo Boo around the ring all night. So I think it's going to be, unfortunately, championship round stoppage for Andre.
I can see where you're coming from, and I can see that relaxed style of Andre probably drawing him in, and that probably being the tactic and the idea of Andre. But Liam's so ferocious right now. He's full of confidence. Boxing is 90% in your head. Everyone is fit when they majority of people are fit when they get in that ring. Vast majority of people know exactly what to do, how to slip a punch, how to come back with something, how to punch correctly. But what not everyone has is that confidence, and Liam is confidence. Everyone in Wales thinks he's going to be the next world champion from Wales.
I hope I'm wrong. I I really do.
In my eyes, he should already be a world champion. There's when he held he should have fought. He fought Liam Williams for the interim WBO world title, and then straight after that fight, obviously he didn't get a win there because of the cut, and then straight after that fight, Canelo gave up his belt, so he should already be world champion in my eyes, and in a lot of people's eyes, I think, as well. Although Liam Williams is a fantastic fighter, don't get me wrong, but yeah,
Liam Smith,
yeah,
fantastic.
But Dully should. I think he's got. There's things you've seen in Andre in the build-up to this, how weird he's been acting. I know he's quite erratic guy or eclectic guy or whatever you want to call him anyway, but he's been adding layers of strangeness coming up to this fight, and I think it's partially because he didn't really want to do it. He wanted to set up a super middle. He didn't want to defend against Liam Williams. He thought it is too much of a risk, and didn't really want to. Been forced into a corner, obviously been promised a big fight after it. And
you go through his record, it's not great, is it?
The only guy they've both fought in common, Liam absolutely battered, made him look like he was scared to be punched. And if Liam takes that intensity in there, I can very feasibly see it going early. And if it doesn't go early, I think he builds a dominant lead to points.
So you're in Liam Williams' corner. What would you be telling him? Sit on his chest all night? Cut the ring off? You've got to cut that ring off. You've got to
do what you want to do. I think he does. I remember him as an amateur, and I remember him at 14 banging out boys who were like 17. You know what I mean? He's always hard as nails, and he'll go in there. Dominic will obviously have him in fantastic shape. He's got him doing a bit of switch hitting, so he's being more comfortable with his balance, and I think he's just going to come in there and stay on him, like say, cut the ring off. And beat him down as best he can. And then if it turns into a boxing match, I do know that he has got the skills there to slip and come inside as well. So you're a guy, but you're wrong.
So let's do it. Let's have a prediction at you then, Kieran, because you seem quite confident. So I'll give you my prediction. I've told championship round stoppage. What do you reckon?
Stoppage within 7, I think, between 3 and 7.
Between 3 and 7, so you might go earlier.
Yeah. I think it's possible he goes. I think he gets it up the guts or something like that, or he starts spitting his gum shield out. I think you'll see it early if he loses the taste for it.
So you think he might break his heart as well?
Yeah.
And the last one, I promised the last one. I'm from Nottingham, obviously in England. A couple of lads who come on the show from Nottingham, and they asked me to ask you this question. Would Carl Froch have beaten Joe Calzaghe?
Would he fuck?
And let's take the partisan bit away.
He's tough as nails. Froch is tough as nails. But Calzaghe was just, he people say he didn't hit hard. He must have hit solid enough, but he just let his hands fly. He had that supreme, like I say about Liam, he had that confidence, man. If your hands can start flowing and you can get relaxed in that rhythm, and we all know his hands shattered apart in some fights or whatever. But
yeah.
I think he had the bite. He had the cockiness and the bite and the arrogance to get back up, and he had the ability to just let his hands. And I think he would have peppered Carl and won on points, I'd imagine. However, Carl did have a big old backhand.
Just playing devil's advocate before we finish. Could there be an argument? I'm just trying to state an argument for Carl Froch here, being a local lad. Could he? I mean, it's been well documented. Some people suggest Joe Calzaghe slaps, like you've said. I can see you're not going to wear this already, but I'm going to say it. Could a Carl Froch walk through Calzaghe?
That is a point. It is definitely a point. However, how many punches was he throwing in fights? 1,000 plus?
Yeah, a lot.
That's a crazy number. It's my numbers. So he's throwing enough.
I'm just thinking about the Kessler fight. This is the second one where there's some big bombs thrown in that Froch.
Oh God, what a fight! These are always the argument. We're not made of glass, but we're only made of bone and blood. So there's definitely an option for it. But sit back and relax. Take my word as gospel. Joe Calzaghe did it.
Well, what I'll do on Saturdays when I'm proved right with my prediction, I'll be sending you a message, and if you're right, my phone will be off. So
be prepared for a lot of messages.
No, Kieran, really appreciate you taking time out your Friday night to talk to us. Good luck moving forward, fella. Keep in touch. I hope this is one of many interviews. We've had a laugh and a joke. What it's all about. Good luck with the fights coming up, and we'll speak to you soon. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good one.
I'll Cheers.